Welcome back to another episode of Illuminating Information, the podcast where we shine a light on the cutting-edge ideas shaping the way we work and innovate. Today, we're diving into a topic that is quickly becoming critical for every organization working with AI: trust. Because AI is something we increasingly rely on, especially in knowledge workflows where decisions are made based on complex, fragmented information, the question that's raised is, how can we trust AI enough to act on its outputs? Joining me today is Michael Chatzilias from Akedor. As a partner of Mindbreeze, he spoke at KMWorld Europe 2026 about ethical and responsible AI and knowledge workflows. Together, we'll explore this further by talking about the shift from generative to agentic AI, why hallucinations are more than just a technical issue, and what it really takes to build ethical and responsible AI systems in enterprise environments. With that, let's get started. Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much also for inviting me here today. It's fantastic to connect with you, Brittany. It's amazing and inspiring for me to experience the energy and momentum with Mindbreeze these days. So thank you.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. And just before we get into our questions, can you tell us a little bit about you, what you do, and what your company does?
By all means. So Akedor Group operates in two fundamental areas today. The second operational area, focuses on our cybersecurity, software as a service solutions in application management, IT asset management, secure remote access, and secure information exchange combined with powerful identity management. But our first and most fundamental operational area and focus has been the area of AI-driven enterprise intelligence, where we turn structured or unstructured and raw data into intelligent insights with Mindbreeze Insight Workplace. This way, Brittany, we enable C-level executives collect from the organization's data sources, analyze through correlation models, turn this organizational data into intelligent insights to take critical decisions. Brittany, to achieve this, we implement Mindbreeze Insight Workplace with pre-built touchpoints through what we call an insight journey. Mindbreeze uses more than 500 out-of-the-box connectors to collect data, and by using Agentic RAG, as we'll see later on, we achieve the outcome of producing intelligent insights to the user and to the service.
Awesome. And as I said in our intro, you were recently at KMWorld Europe. Can you share a little bit about your impression of the event, if you learned what people are currently looking for, like the trends that are emerging in AI and knowledge management space?
Yes, I can. Well, the first impression that I already shared with my colleagues when I got back was the matter of security and trust. At the first glance, KMWorld contained participants speaking about and demonstrating the importance of AI in today's world. That's not enough. There have been many attendees at KMWorld expressing interest in knowing more about AI implementations, but the issue of security and trust matters the most. And this is an area that enterprise organizations would like to feel confident about. So, as I said in my presentation, AI is no longer a tool that we are experimenting with. It's a system that we can increasingly rely on. And that, Brittany, changes everything, because the moment we rely on AI, we inherit responsibility for its decisions. That's exactly what I presented back at KMWorld. To sum up, enterprise organizations today, they are in need of turning raw, unstructured data into actionable insights to take decisions fast. Security and trust are what matter the most. Speed matters. Ease of use, flexibility in rolling out and deployment matters. Certifications matter. The capability to use out-of-the-box connectors matter. All those areas have arisen out of my attendance on KMWorld, and I have communicated all points to my attendees there.
Mm-hmm. And I really appreciate that you mentioned that AI is no longer something that we experiment with, but something that we're relying on now. Can you share a little bit about what you think has brought us to this turning point?
Well, first of all, there has been a major shift in how knowledge workflows operate. It started back then with a simple search and find. Then knowledge workflows focused on getting answers, helping us find the information, summarize it, understand it faster. But this phase, Brittany, is coming to an end. We're moving from generative AI into agentic AI. And this means that AI is no longer just providing answers. It starts to take action. This year, 2026, Brittany, marks the turning point from experimentation to execution. This is why responsible AI is not optional, it is mandatory today.
And if AI is starting to act, which it is, what happens when it's confidently wrong?
Well, we see everyday employees make decisions based on fragmented information. Emails, documents, contracts, reports, increasingly supported by AI systems we see today. And those systems are getting very good at giving answers, fast answers, fluent answers, convincing. But here's a real question. Can we trust those answers enough so that we can act on them? Because in knowledge workflows, a even slightly wrong answer is often more dangerous than giving no answer at all.
Yeah. Do you want to go a little bit into why that is so risky in a business context, like a specific example, if you have one in mind?
I do, actually. Brittany, you might have seen examples, and I presented this example at KMWorld. You might have seen examples like this AI systems recommending things like adding glue to pizza. I don't know if you've heard about it, but that may sound strange, but it highlights a very serious issue. I mean, adding glue to pizza. Because it's not just about funny mistakes. They are real world cases with real consequences. Maybe you've heard recently a medical journal reported a case where a person relied on AI-generated health advice. The recommendations sounded plausible, yes, but it was all wrong. And that's the core problem. AI can be highly accurate in one domain and completely unreliable in another domain. It doesn't know where the limits are. Now, imagine this in an enterprise context, in compliance, in operations today, or even in strategic decision making. The impact is no longer funny, but it's critical. That's why ethical and responsible AI is not optional. It's the foundation for using AI in any environment where decisions matter. The incident, this is not just an isolated incident that I mentioned, it's a structural characteristic of how these systems work, because what we're dealing here is something that we call hallucinations. That's something we totally want to avoid.
When we talk about hallucinations, the way it sounds is it's clearly more than just a technical issue. So how do we make AI trustworthy? And maybe connecting to your talk at KMWorld, you described RAG as a kind of gatekeeper and even introduced Agentic RAG. Can you walk us through how these approaches help solve the issue?
I remember that. I think the attendees were actually clapping at that moment. They loved that. If I remember correctly, it was quite an experience for me. So instead of generating answers from training data alone, responsible AI solutions ground every response in real, trusted enterprise sources. What I mean by that is with retrieval augmented generation, RAG, the system does not generate answers from the model alone. Instead, it follows a very, very clear process. The user asks a question. The solution retrieves relevant information from enterprise systems and only then provides those facts to the large language model. Now, the model generates an answer, but only based on that retrieved quality information. You can think of the solution, as I said, as you very nicely said, the gatekeeper, as I reported back at KMWorld. It ensures that only trusted enterprise data is used, no guessing, no external guessing, no hallucinated content. And if there is no reliable information available, the system simply does not generate an answer. No data, no answer. Who does that? So that's how you build trust between the user and the vendor, or the service and a responsible AI vendor. Agentic RAG takes this one step further. Instead of a single response, the system can always refine answers, validate answers, and correct itself always. So the answer is not just generated, it's continuously improved. Brittany, above all, there's another dimension of trust, one that is quite often underestimated. I hope I'm answering your question.
You are. Now I want to stand up and clap. For someone listening right now, what's the biggest mistake companies are making when adopting AI today?
That's a good item to take away. First, AI must be embedded where work actually happens, right there where the action is. It should not require users to switch systems, to learn new interfaces, or to interrupt their workflow. Responsible solutions bring intelligence directly into existing tools and processes. Secondly, deployment and flexibility. Responsible organizations operate under very, very different constraints, technical constraints, regulatory and organizational. So a responsible solution must support cloud environments, on-prem deployments, hybrid models, because in many industries, data control is not optional. It's a must, it's mandatory. Third, the flexibility of the model itself. Organizations need the ability to use managed models, integrate external models, bring their own models, all those while maintaining governance, security, and full control over their data. Mind you, this is exactly Mindbreeze Insight workplace. Finally, none of this works without connected data. As I said earlier in this conversation, Mindbreeze has more than out-of-the-box 500 connectors ready to go. Responsible solutions must integrate seamlessly across enterprise environments, documents, ERP systems, collaboration tools, and so much more. Only then can AI move from answers to real, reliable decisions. All this sounds very, very good in theory, but its real value becomes visible in our everyday work. That's why we would like all our users and customers to utilize Mindbreeze exactly where they operate every day.
Mm-hmm. And you summed that up really, really well. But to even further have a takeaway for listeners, what would you say as an overall takeaway should listeners come away with in this conversation?
Yes. The takeaway, AI is moving from answers to actions, from generative to agentic, and that increases responsibility. Trust, Brittany, trust is the foundation of AI in knowledge workflows. Everywhere I go, in every conversation that I am involved in, the issue of trust and ethics comes on board. No trust, AI cannot be used for real decisions. Hallucinations are not just a technical issue today, they are a business risk. Plausible answers are not necessarily correct. We think they may be correct, but they're not. Responsible AI requires grounding, transparency, control, verifiable sources, explainable answers, and human oversight. The real value of AI is not better answers, it's better decisions. So the future of AI, Brittany, and I am summarizing with this, the future of AI is not defined by what it can do, but by how much we as users and professionals can trust it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, I just want to thank you again, Michael, for coming on and talking to us about trust and AI and what you've learned at KMWorld Europe. Your perspective was really interesting, and I know our listeners will really appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to Illuminating Information on your favorite podcast platform. If you have a question, topic you would like us to cover, or know someone who would make a great guest on this podcast, reach out to us on our website and let us know. Stay innovative, stay informed, and as always, keep illuminating information.